Today our topic is multi-step inequalities. So our essential question is, how can I solve and graph inequalities with more than one step? Review. What is an inequality? It is an expression with the signs greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. How do I solve multi-step equations? So we're going back to that multi-step equations piece to review before we go into inequalities. Draw your railroad tracks. First step is to distribute. We have parentheses we can distribute. So we have 4x plus 4 equals 3 plus 7x minus 11. So that was distribute. I want you to write these steps down as well. All right, and the next piece, combine like terms. So if I look over here, 4x and 4, those are not like terms. You can't put them together. But on the right, we have 3, 7x, and minus 11. So 3 and 11 are like terms. So 3 minus 11 is negative 8. And then 7x comes along. So the next step would be to combine like terms. Next step, get your variables to one side. We have 4x on the left and 7x on the right. Move the smaller ones. So 4 is smaller than 7, so we're going to do minus 4x on both sides. We have 4 equals 7x minus 4x is 3x. Bring down the minus 8. Next step would be to undo addition and subtraction. So we have minus 8, which we want to undo with plus 8. Now I'm going to bring this down here. We have 12 equals 3x. So that was undo addition and subtraction. Last step will be to undo multiplication or division. So we have times 3, we want to divide by 3 on both sides, and we get x equals 4. This last question here, what is the difference between solving equations and solving inequalities? Remember, we talked about this last time, but the one difference is you have to flip the inequality when multiplying or dividing by a negative. So if we multiply both sides by a negative number or divide both sides by a negative number, we have to flip the inequality symbol. Solve and graph multi-step inequalities. So draw your railroad tracks. Look and see what we can do. We don't have distribution. Our variables are on one side. We have subtraction that we can undo with addition. So add 5 to both sides. 2y is less than 12. 2 times y, we undo that multiplication with division. 12 divided by 2 is 6. We divided by a positive number, so our inequality stays the same. Y is less than 6. Put 6 in the middle of your graph, 7 on the right, 5 on the left. Open circle, and then we shade in the direction of less than. 5 is less than 6, so 5 is the direction we shade in. 5 minus x is greater than 4. Now, if having your x after the number is confusing, flip it around. It's negative x, so we put the negative x first, and it's a positive 5, so when we put plus 5 is greater than 4. That way, it's in a nice, easy working order. Draw your railroad track. Undo that plus 5 with a minus 5. We bring down the negative x, which is really negative 1x, is greater than 4 minus 5 is negative 1. This is negative 1 times x. We undo that with dividing both sides by negative 1. X, negative 1 divided by negative 1 is positive 1. We divided by a negative, which means we have to flip our inequality from greater than to less than. X is less than 1. We say 1 in the middle, 2 on the right, 0 on the left. It's just less than, so it's an open circle. Which number is less than 1? That would be 0, so we shade in the direction of 0. Next two examples, little bit more steps. We have parentheses, which means we're going to distribute the negative 3 to both numbers. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Now we can undo our minus 6 with a plus 6 on both sides. Bring down the negative 3x. Bring down the less than sign. 9 plus 6 is 15. We have negative 3 times x. We undo that times with division. Negative 3's cancel out, leaving us with x. 15 divided by negative 3 is negative 5. Right here, we divided by a negative, which means we have to flip our inequality sign. We flip it from less than to greater than. So x is greater than negative 5. We're going to put negative 5 in the middle of our graph, negative 4 on the right, and negative 6 on the left. Remember, with negatives, it goes backwards. Open circle, because it's just greater than. Pick the number that's greater than negative 5, which would be negative 4, and we shade in that direction. Next example, we have 2x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 4x minus 1. If we look, we have a variable on both sides. We want it to be on one side. So we want to move the smaller one. 2x is smaller than 4x, so we'll move the 2x by doing minus 2x on both sides. 2x minus 2x cancels, leaving us with negative 3. Bring down our greater than or equal to sign. 4x minus 2x is 2x. Bring down the minus 1. We want to get 2x by itself, so we're undoing the minus 1 with a plus 1. 2x, the greater than or equal to sign comes down. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. 2 times x, undo that multiplication with division. X, negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. We divided by a positive number, which means we don't have to flip the inequality sign. So the inequality sign is going to stay the same. So now we have to read this a little bit differently. This says negative 1 is greater than or equal to x. Or we can read it this way, from right to left, which is a little bit different, but that's okay. So reading it that way, it would read x is less than or equal to, we flip-flop that sign, negative 1. So if we write it in reverse, we flip the two numbers around and then flip the inequality sign. So we have x is less than or equal to negative 1. Put negative 1 in the middle. 0 on the right, negative 2 on the left. It is less than or equal to, which means we're going to have a closed circle. Pick the number that is less than negative 1, that would be negative 2, and shade in that direction. If you do have trouble setting up your number lines, remember there is a number line in the classroom, or you can use your Chromebook to search what a number line looks like. All right, last example, write and use a multi-step inequality. A small airplane can carry at most 1,050 pounds of luggage. So at most means that's your maximum. You can't carry any more than that. So that would mean for 1,050, that is as much as you can carry. So we're going to use less than or equal to for our inequality sign. The male for the day weighs 490 pounds. So we know we're starting with 490 pounds, which is being added to, if the passengers bring 70 pounds of luggage each, what is the greatest possible number of passengers that can be taken? So we have 70 pounds of luggage each. So when you see that each, that's like per, which means you're going to be multiplying. So we're multiplying 70 by the number of passengers, which we don't know, so that's going to be our variable. So we'll have 70x plus 490 is less than or equal to 1050. Solve the inequality. Undo addition with subtraction. We have 70x is less than or equal to 560. Then we want to divide both sides by 70 to get x all by itself. And then we get x is less than or equal to 8. Relate it back to the question, what is the greatest possible number of passengers that can be taken? The most passengers would be 8. We can't take any more than 8. We could take less than 8, but the maximum number of passengers is 8. That is all the notes that I have for you today. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel.